Good afternoon and welcome to Lariat TV News Today. I'm Kennedy Dendy.
And I'm Igor Stepchinsky. Thanks for joining us today. Mother Nature has left waterlogged devastation in the Houston area again, this time with Tropical Storm Imelda. More than 33 inches of rain has fallen since Tuesday in southeast Texas, with some areas reaching over 40 inches. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has declared a state of disaster in 13 counties as thousands of residents remain stranded in their homes and cars. At least 900 flights have been canceled out of the Houston area. Chambers County Sheriff Brian Hawthorne said the same houses that flooded during Hurricane Harvey are taking in water again, with some homes drowning in 4 to 5 feet of water. All Texas and Louisiana coast residents are asked to stay alert, stay off the roads, and stay prepared. Many Baylor student families have been affected, and they shared with LTVN some of their feelings and emotions about this horrific storm.
This time my mom is back at work, and she works an hour away from where we actually live, and she's still currently at her job waiting for things to kind of die down a little bit and for her to get home, but it's not really possible since everything's pretty much flooded, everything's shut down from metro to the airports to even just feeder roads for the highways. It's kind of a mess.
The flood is impacting my neighborhood at home. The waters are rising high, cars are getting flooded, and I live on an elevated driveway, so it's actually reaching to our front door.
It's hard being away from home and being 3 hours away and having to constantly call her, talk to her, and see kind of what's going on and see how badly it's affecting my hometown again.
A young girl passes away after swimming with her family in the Brazos River. Her death is due to contracting a brain-eating amoeba. LTVN's Grace Smith investigated some precautions you should take when swimming in warm waters.
10-year-old girl dies after contracting brain-eating amoeba after swimming in these waters that the Waco community knows all too well. After a swim in the Brazos River with family, Lily Mae Avent suffered from Naegleria fowleri amoeba, a single-celled organism. This deadly organism is commonly found in warm, fresh water, such as rivers and lakes. It is known to enter the body through the nose, then travels to the brain and destroys the brain tissue. Between 2009 and 2018, 34 cases have been reported. And of the 145 known cases between 1962 and 2018, only 4 have survived. I spoke with Chris Van Dusen of the Texas Department of State Health Services, who reassured the community while giving helpful tips on what to watch out for.
There are some things you can do, as I said, use a nose clip or hold your nose so that you don't get water up your nose, and be aware of the surroundings, and if the water temperature is very, very warm, it's probably best to avoid that.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Grace Smith.
The Waco Suspension Bridge has a special place in the hearts of Baylor students, faculty, staff, and the Waco community. Home to the long-lasting tradition of tortilla tossing, Baylor wouldn't be the same without it. LTVN Sarah Gill spoke with the senior park planner for the city of Waco to get all the details regarding the upcoming construction project that will close the bridge for 2 years.
Whether you're tortilla tossing, taking pictures, or enjoying the scenery, the suspension bridge is iconic to Baylor and the city of Waco. All activities will soon be put to a halt when the bridge closes for 2 years, starting in late November, early December, to undergo a $5.4 million restoration project. Since it was built in 1870, the bridge has been evaluated to undergo construction every 30 years.
These cables that were built 100 years ago, they stretch over time, and they've stretched to the point where the community needs to plan for their complete replacement.
Replacing the entire support system is not an easy task. The process begins with creating 3 mid-river supports to hold up the bridge.
They'll be able to take the tension off of the cables and completely remove the cables, and then ship in the new cables and string those back across the river and reinstall everything.
Along with new cables, the wooden deck will be replaced with concrete.
We'll treat the surface. It'll still resemble the same pattern that we have out there with the wood decking, but the main lane of the bridge will be concrete.
Baylor students are most concerned with the beloved tradition of tortilla tossing associated with the bridge.
That sucks, because that's one of our favorite traditions. Like when my sister came for the first time and toured and stuff, that's what we took her to do, was tortilla tossing.
But don't toss this tradition away yet. Whether it's flour or corn, Baylor students can continue this tradition throughout the fall season. For Lariat TV News, I'm Sarah Gill.
If you need technology assistance, the answers may be closer than you think. Moody has a new addition to the Tech Point called Help Desk Plus that offers technology assistance to students. Baylor IT support was primarily offered online, but you can now visit this area to receive help with hardware repairs, software issues, airbear questions, and more. There is even the option to check out a laptop to use if yours needs repair. The Help Desk Plus is open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday on the garden level of Moody Library.
In honor of President Livingston's Public Discourse Initiative, Baylor invited Christian writer and LGBT activist Justin Lee as a speaker on Tuesday evening. I sat down with Lee for an exclusive one-on-one interview about the LGBT community on Christian campuses. Up on the 5th floor of Hank Mercashin Building, Baylor's School of Social Work hosted a safe place for discussion.
We decided we wanted to be a part of a conversation to show support for our LGBTQ students, and we had great support from the university to be able to have this conversation.
On Tuesday evening, Baylor invited LGBT activist and Christian author Justin Lee to speak about student minority visibility.
We're all very different from each other, but we all know what it's like to feel alone. LGBTQ people are not issues. And so I think on a Christian campus, we ought to be able to approach these questions with empathy and compassion rather than just opposition all the time.
Over 500 people attended this event in honor of President Livingston's new public discourse initiative.
I think that this is a conversation that needs to keep happening on Christian campuses, and I think it's important as much as possible to stay strong in your faith and not let that faith be dependent on what other people say about your faith.
But despite any differences, attendees shared two things in common: laughter and love.
Don't wait for somebody to welcome you into the body of Christ. You don't have to be welcomed into the body of Christ. You already are the body of Christ. God loves you. God wants to use you. So go be the church. Thank you.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Igor Stepchinsky.
The Sick 'em for Safety campaign is not over yet. Running throughout the month of September, it coincides with National Preparedness Month, aiming to educate students and faculty about safety procedures and emergency services on campus. Sick 'em for Safety will end with National Night Out event, which is held from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. October 1st on Fountain Mall. According to the Baylor statement announcing Sick 'em for Safety, many of the activities that will take place during National Night Out are intended to promote overall campus safety and crime prevention, including a live fire dorm room burn, which is intended to show students what to do in case of emergency. Coming up, we have a story about a Baylor tradition in the making.
We also have a story about one unique Baylor entrepreneur and her mission to pursue her passion while helping others. All this and more after the break.
The best and brightest are drawn to Baylor, where those from many backgrounds with many talents shine together before casting their light outward to illuminate the world. Through transformational learning opportunities that are grounded in Christian faith and service, and research that impacts lives and communities. Baylor University, a place where lights shine bright.
There's a new tradition for seniors on Baylor's campus called Bear Ring the Night, where seniors have the opportunity to have their class rings spend the night with Lady and Joy. Jan Dodd, the Associate Director of Alumni Tradition, tells us more.
We partner with Baylor Chamber of Commerce, and they put on a wonderful event for us. They come over and load the rings into the bear trailer and take them over to the bear habitat. They decorated the habitat. We had Heritage Creamery ice cream for the students, and we emailed all the students whose rings would be in the ring box, and we had a great party.
Baylor announced this week some record enrollment numbers, including its highest diversity percentage ever. Minorities make up almost 37% of all students, and the current freshman class is one of the largest in university history, with 3,307 enrollees, of which nearly 40% come from outside of Texas. Other highlights included a total enrollment of 18,033, including graduate students and more than 1,000 pursuing online degrees. 60% of students on campus are female. Baylor also received multiple honors in the annual U.S. News Report, being named the 4th best university in the nation in student engagement and 8th in the first-year experiences for students.
Baylor hosted the largest career day in its history on Wednesday. The The 3-location event had 172 employers with over 3,000 students in attendance. Employers looked for the best candidates for their companies with options for internships or full-time positions. LTVN's Brinshavia Jordan was there and has the details.
What's up, Baylor Bears? This is Brian Lynch.
And I'm Megan Leonard.
And we're here from AXA Advisors.
We come to Baylor every year because being a Baylor grad, we know the level of education that these students are getting. We know the commitment that they have and the willingness to work.
These are just one of the 172 employers that came to Baylor's Career Day on Wednesday. Over 3,000 students attended the event held at Cashin, Foster, and the Student Union building.
It feels amazing knowing that my school cares enough about its students to put on this massive career fair. There's so many options for you and opportunities for you, whether it's internship or full-time. You definitely can tell that Baylor definitely put in a lot of work to make sure our students succeed after graduation.
Companies were grouped into 3 categories: business, liberal arts, government, nonprofit, or STEM-related, which is science, technology, engineering, and math.
He's a freshman, and I'm a senior, and I found my internships for the past 2 summers here, and so I wanted to bring him here so he could hear about the importance of talking with companies and just learning about the different roles that are available.
This was the largest such event in Baylor's history, according to the Career Center. Baylor is a place where lights shine bright, and setting students up for success is a light that will never dim. As a result of this event, 22 different companies scheduled follow-up interviews with students on Thursday for internships or full-time positions. Baylor will host another career fair next February. For Lariat TV News, I'm Brinshavia Jordan.
One Baylor entrepreneur has started her own t-shirt business with a unique inspiration. It all began with some old t-shirts and a bottle of bleach. I discovered the motivation behind this student's mission. There is no business like college t-shirt business. This is what sophomore Lauren Gossel has come to know.
I saw a couple like acid wash cut up shirts like on Instagram. I was like, oh, that's so cool, but like I don't want to pay for that. I went down in the basement, found bleach, and I was like, oh, I guess that'll work. And I cut it up, poured bleach all over it, and that's how the first shirt got started.
She started selling her shirts through good old-fashioned word of mouth.
I gave it to my best friend at Auburn. All her friends were like, wait, can you make me one? Okay, I guess I can make money off this and actually start a thing.
But to get to the next level, she needed the help of something a little more modern.
Now, in our day, like a lot of people use Instagram as a way of promotion and starting businesses, so I was like, why not?
Behind this small student-run business is a big mission.
So my sister, her name is Morgan, she's 15 years old. She has called mitochondrial disease. It affects the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, gives you energy, and she just doesn't function like a normal child, so she's always going to be dependent on me or my parents. The United Mitochondrial Disease Foundation is where I will be donating part of the proceeds in her name, in her honor, so yeah.
Starting off comes with a small size of nervousness, but the reward comes in extra large.
I was definitely nervous at first because I was like, I don't know how people would perceive this, if it would get like a good following or anything, but if you love it, I would just say keep doing it because the people that matter are definitely going to support you and you're going to be doing what you love.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Igor Stepchinsky.
In 1969, 13 Baylor juniors were selected by then school president Abner McCall as charter members of the school's student foundation. Since then, that group has existed to serve fellow students, and next week it will celebrate its 50th anniversary. Thousands of Baylor alumni have worn the foundation's signature green and white striped jersey and helped recruit students, raise money for scholarships, and build a sense of brotherhood between university alumni and friends. The 50th anniversary celebration will begin next weekend, including a banquet at the Baylor Club and an alumni tailgate before the Iowa State football game.
Baylor announced the funding of 2 faculty chair positions as part of the new Baylor Academic Challenge matching program. The 2 $1.5 million gifts were from Grady Rozier, president and CEO of the McLean Company, and John and Nancy Jackson, co-chairs of the Give Light National Campaign Steering Committee. The 2 gifts will also be matched by the program, resulting in 2 $3 million donations. This money could create as many as 17 new faculty positions. The 2 chairs will be placed in the Hankemer School of Business in support of the Baylor and Latin American Initiative. Up next, we have an update with the football team as they head to Houston to play Rice this weekend.
We also have an exclusive interview with a men's tennis player and his personal journey to come to Baylor all the way from Chile. Sports with Drake is coming up right after this short break. Stick around.
At Baylor, our lights shine
while we push our limits
and guide the way.
At Baylor, our lights shine as we're making connections
and making an impression.
As leaders.
And as part of something bigger.
Baylor's light shines around the world, but it starts in each of us. Baylor, where lights shine bright.
Baylor's fifth-ranked volleyball team is back in action on their home floor this weekend after improving their record to 7-0 with a pair of wins a week ago. Coach McGuire and company hope to keep their undefeated streak alive against nationally ranked competition. LTVN's Nate Smith has the story.
Coming off of a big weekend in which they beat both the University of Houston and the Tennessee Volunteers in the Baylor Invitational, the undefeated Bears volleyball team has high expectations for themselves heading into this weekend's Baylor Classic.
We're excited to see what Baylor volleyball has in the future, but we're excited to attack now. We think the ceiling is number one, honestly, like at the end of the year. And so having a number 5 ranking right now just makes us even more hungry to keep working in the gym.
It's just fun that we do have that kind of target on our back that everyone wants to beat us.
The Bears kick off the Classic this Friday night as they take on the 17th ranked Missouri Tigers before rounding out their weekend on Sunday with a match against the 13th ranked University of Hawaii. For Lariat TV News, I'm Nate Smith.
Baylor football charges into rain-soaked Houston Saturday for their first game in 2 weeks. The Bears have had extended time to prepare, but battle-tested Rice presents a new challenge. Football is back in action this weekend as the undefeated Bears travel to Houston to take on winless Rice.
We've been focused. They present some challenges for us schematically. They're going to have volume to what they do. They're going to have a lot of different offense, a lot of different defense. So we also know that no matter what we practice, they're going to do something different in the game. And we're going to have to adapt. And I just want to come back feeling like we have a good football team.
This Rice squad could pose a serious threat.
We're not necessarily game ready for a 4-quarter battle. And so you look at Rice, they've been in a 4-quarter battle. They've taken Army all the way to the very end of the game. And so they know what it feels like to be there.
This week's matchup will come down to which team is more prepared.
I'm expecting Rice to come out. I know Mike Bloomgren and I know Rice. They're going to be ready for us. And we'll find out if we're going to be ready for them.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Drake Toll. Bears soccer takes a pitch tonight coming off of a 1-1 tie in Sunday's double overtime match at Abilene Christian. The 3-2-2 Bears take on undefeated USC, who comes into Betty Lou Mays Field as the number 2 team in the NCAA. The 6 o'clock match will be broadcast on ESPNU with the first 500 fans in attendance receiving a free scarf. The Bears have a quick turnaround as they will host Gonzaga on Sunday at 1. Big 12 play kicks off next Thursday against Kansas State in Manhattan. International students often face many challenges when adapting to a new culture and battling language barriers. A true champion is one who can learn and overcome the obstacles that stand in the way. There are few better examples than Baylor tennis player Matias Soto, who came to Waco all the way from South America. LTVN's Brinshavia Jordan has the story.
A true champion is not only measured by their accomplishments, but how well they can overcome barriers. That rings true for junior tennis player Matias Soto. Coming from Chile to the United States brought many challenges, but his determination fuels his willingness to triumph.
I came here with no English, and after 1 year I feel confident to talk with anyone. But since the first day I had a really good relationship with my teammates, my coaches, so that helped me a lot. But yeah, of course the language was pretty tough.
He picked up a racket at the age of 4 and has been playing ever since. That passion led him to Baylor, where he was 32-11 last season, playing top 3 positions in singles and doubles, and finishing number 25 in the country for singles.
Yeah, Matias Soto is one of the most humble, hardworking young men that I've ever had the opportunity to work in over 25 years as a collegiate coach. He's a special young man. He comes to work every day, and not only to make himself better, but makes everyone else around him better.
His journey hasn't been easy, but it's one that he is proud of. Baylor is known for preparing champions for life, and he is no exception. For Lariat TV News, I'm Brinshavia Jordan.
In golf, the Lady Bears surged in the final day of the Glass City Invitational in Toledo, Ohio to take 4th place overall. The squad shot 17 over and finished just 2 strokes back of 3rd place. 3 Lady Bears, including Dion Bayou, Fiona Liddell, and Elodie Chapelet, turned heads by finishing in the top 10 individually. On the men's side, the 20th-ranked Bears are in Illinois today to begin the Fighting Illini Invitational. Coach Mike McGraw's team most recently secured hardware with a first-place finish at Minnesota's Gopher Invite. And that's all I have for sports today.
Thanks for watching Lariat TV News Today. Catch us on YouTube, BaylorLariat.com, or the Waco City channel.
We'll see you next week. Have a great day, Baylor Nation.